The angel will now tell me that we must travel to the prison where families are condemned, that is, all those who have mistreated their families, those who have abused them, those who have mismanaged them, those who have committed acts contrary to the faith. He explains to me that no form of belief can erase the bond of blood, no form of belief can erase the family bond, nor justify abandoning one's family. Then he tells me this: you will see the imminent punishments reserved for those who have mistreated their families. 1 Timothy chapter 5 verse 8, if anyone does not provide for his family, and especially for his household, he has denied the faith and is as pure as an unbeliever. As we approach a vast expanse in the next section, it was a territory ablaze with fire, entirely consumed by flames. Metal prisons and dungeons were lined up as far as the eye could see. Terrifying cries rose from almost everywhere. I saw thousands of men and women, as I had described at the beginning. We knew them by their voices. Their bodies sometimes resembled glowing coals. They wept incessantly and desperately sought a way to leave this place and escape these torments. It was unbearable and unbearable. Their hands were also, as in the previous section, bound to the iron bars of their cell. They were screaming, and it was horrible and difficult. He was screaming, saying, "We can't take it anymore. It's beyond our comprehension. No, no, we can't take it anymore." I watched unbearable scenes. It's horrendous and horrifying. The angel told me, "Be strong, for here again, you will see things that are beyond your comprehension. I'm sorry about these things, but you're supposed to see them." We started moving forward. When we arrived at this expanse, I remember the word dungeons, metlixels, people holding the bars of their cells, searching for a way out of this place. I found a soul in his cell in this place, struggling to free himself from those burning chains, searching for a way to leave the prison because it was difficult for him. He couldn't. He kept screaming. He screamed like crazy. Since his cell was rather large, inside there was a shelf. Above it, there was the silhouette of someone lying there. The silhouette was in the form of a human body lying there. In fact, it was like a corpse lying there. The silhouette kept speaking, saying to this soul, "My son, I did everything for you in life, but you caused my death. Cursed be your existence." The corpse cried out for justice, justice, justice. The deceased was demanding justice. The person in this horrible scene was responding, "I'm sorry, Mom, I can't take it anymore, Mom." The more he said this, the more his darkness intensified in his cell, and his fire continued to rise. He continued to cry out, "Mom, I'm sorry, forgive me. I'm ready to go and make amends for what I've done. I'm ready to go and make amends for my actions on earth. I'm ready." The voice continued to say, "After all I invested in your life, you sacrificed me. Cursed be your existence." The man now continued to say, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." Then he was burning by the fire that was unbearable. He got into a rage and extreme anger. He said, "Mother, stop, I've had enough. I have been suffering all these years. I can't take it anymore, so be quiet. I'm suffering incessantly." After his outburst, then he starts begging again. I ask the angel, "Why is this man fighting like this, exchanging words with his mother like this, trying to break free from his chains and the corpse that is speaking to him?" The angel explains this story to me. The corpse is his mother's shadow. His mother suffered in life after the death of their father. His mother had 3 children, him, the person imprisoned in this place, and his 2 brothers. In her suffering, his mother worked herself to the bone to send them to school. She did everything, and his children finished their studies. After their studies ended, he, being the eldest, earned his own living. He became stable and fulfilled. He strongly supported his family, his sisters and his 2 brothers. After a while, when the man he got married, his wife came into the family and created problems because she didn't approve of the relationship this man had with his mother. She started with visions, with dreams, telling this man, "Your mother is a witch, look at this and that. In any case, you must distance yourself from your mother. You must free yourself from your mother. You are under her control. It is she who is making you suffer. It is she who is responsible." These accusatory words continued until one day, when the man, his wife, and the children went to church. Arriving at church during the service, their pastor began to deliver sermons. The pastor singled out the man, accusing his mother of witchcraft. When he said your mother is a witch, the man, already burdened and exhausted by his wife's accusations against his mother, the man finally made up his mind, and he completely abandoned his responsibility towards his mother. He abandoned his mother despite the intervention of his siblings. The two brothers began seeking help somewhere else in order to alleviate their mother's suffering. What's alarming is that this man then began to influence his brothers, ultimately convincing them that their mother was a witch, so that they will turn their back on their mother. He persuaded them. They listened to him, refusing to care for their mother, until the poor woman fell ill. Suffering, she remained at home, hoping her son would come to his senses and visit her. Unfortunately, the mother was unable to receive proper medical care. After a while, the mother will eventually die. Her two brothers didn't have enough resources, and her mother will leave this earth. The angel now explains to me that in life the child is indebted to his parents. Everything his parents invested in his life, especially his mother, should never be taken for granted. He further explains that the mother's spiritual condition and identity in no way justifies abandonment from the children, meaning, even your parents are witches. This does abolish the child's obligation to support his parents that are in need, because the relationship is biological and the struggle is spiritual. This man shouldn't abandon his mother and refuse to help simply because she is a witch. That was this man's story. Brother, what this man has done has been happening in our country, because there are churches that encourage people to abandon their relative, even parent, when they are suspected of witchcraft. But the Lord does not approve this stance. When your brother is sick and you won't assist him simply because he is a witch, you may face judgment, because the relationship is biological and the struggle is spiritual. After leaving this man, I found myself in front of another cell, where I found another man sobbing in the fire and shouting aloud, I am ready to help my family, I am ready to assist them, I am ready, give me a minute, I will go out here to help my brothers, to help the whole family, I am ready. I ask the angel again about this man's story. The angel tells me this man you see here lost his parents while he was still alive. He was taken in by his uncle, and his paternal uncle was very wealthy. In his culture, he took the initiative to help his siblings' children, saying, I am alive today, but I will not be here today. He educated almost the entire family, but this man you see here in hell, his uncle adopted him, took him in, saying, my nephew is intelligent. The uncle invested more in his life than anyone else. He educated him in the city's prestigious schools. After he finished primary and secondary school, the uncle sent him to Europe to attend university. He completed his university studies and grew into a gentleman. The uncle, who had many assets and businesses, summoned his nephew back to the country to find him a position. The nephew returned and was appointed CEO of the company, replacing his predecessor. The position was handed over to him. He now held his uncle's former role. After some time, the uncle passed away. He then took over the company and the position his uncle had held. The uncle had not had the opportunity to have children. It was just him and his wife. The nephew took control of the company, and then he got married. Unfortunately, he began helping the family with only crumbs. His assistance to the family was not proportionate with the help he received from them, yet it was his uncle who had sent him to school. It was his uncle who had invested everything in his life. It was his uncle whom he had supported from his youth until his death. This man, in the same way that his uncle had invested in his life to educate him, should also act in the same way, because during the last days of his uncle's life, he had told him, you must take care of the family, you take command, you take the mantle, the responsibility, the torch of the family. It is you who must continue to keep this family alive, to preserve the family name. But when this man took over, he did not fully support the family. He did not send the children to school. He didn't give the job to those who had finished their studies. He hoarded all his possessions to enrich himself and his wife, instead of supporting the family as his uncle had done. He had closed his heart. He thought only of his wife and children. The Bible says in Proverbs chapter 21 verse 13, Whoever shuts his ear to the cry of the poor will believe himself and receive no answer. The angel told me that he sometimes helped certain family members, but only with crumbs, very little help that was nothing compared to what he himself had once received. Yet, God gave him the means to do more, and his uncle gave him the chance to become established. Luke chapter 12 verse 48, From everyone to whom much has been given, much will be required, and from the one to whom much has been entrusted, even more will be demanded. He had forgotten his uncle's sacrifices, he had forgotten where God had taken him from, where God had brought him from. His heart had become hard and selfish. The Bible says a generous person will prosper, whoever refreshes others will be refreshed. Proverbs 11 verse 25. Then the angel looked at me and said, when someone receives a great help, and becomes a blessing for other, it pleases heaven, but when someone rises up and abandons those who suffer for his future, it draws God's judgment. So, God's principle is found in Proverbs 11:25. The rich will prosper, and he who refreshes will himself be refreshed, he told me. The principle is simple. God demands more from the one to whom much has been given. Since it was his uncle who sent him to university, educated him, and he became a gentleman, he couldn't deceive his nephews and nieces with $10, $20. Help must be proportionate to what he had received. They should have had a sense of proportion in this situation. Since you were educated, in turn, who did you educate? You were helped a lot. You were sent to Europe to become a gentleman. In turn, who did you send to Europe? He was content to give crumbs, take money, go buy the juice. Yet these are adults. He should have helped people to be able to stand on their own 2 feet, help them, pull strings for them. He didn't want to do it. He had easy connections to connect his family member. He didn't want to do it. The sense of proportionality in helping was not there. The uncle who educated him in turn, he didn't want to do it for other. It's only his children, only his wife. The extended family was content with crumbs. How many people behave this way? Your money was intended for his wife and children. The angel explains to me that when someone sends you to school, when your parents educate you in life, in turn, you must do the same for others. If you were born at age 4 and your family sent you to school and university, and your brother has children, he doesn't have the means to help them in life, and your brother also contributed to your studies, your older brother helped you finish university, bought you syllabaries, you must act the same way for his children. You must do the same. Don't say to your brother, you haven't done anything for me. Ask, how much is it? I'm going to pay you back. No, you must act the same way. If, after your brother's death, his children have nothing to eat, if, after your brother's death, his children no longer pursue their studies while your parents helped you in life to become a man, the judgment falls on you because you have taken the place your parents occupied after their death or old age. It is the children who take over the family business. You must act in the same way. How did your parents behave towards their grandchildren who are being raised? How should you behave? How do many people who come after us behave in the same way? You came into this life, someone gave you this job. Now it's your turn. How many people did you pull strings for? In turn, how many members of your family did you help get the same job? How much did you contribute? When you had nothing, your sister and brother helped you pay your rent. When your brother passed away, his children don't even have a roof over their heads. What did you do for them? They contributed to getting you where you are. They contributed to your education. After you were raised, how many people in your family did you educate? You didn't study with your parents' brothers. It was your older brother who educated you. It was your younger sister who educated you. Today, your brothers have children who don't even go to school. While you have resources, you also say you have too many responsibilities. Those who paid your school fees didn't also have responsibilities? Everything will be weighed up. Heaven will weigh it to see. You say, yes, I do it, but it's not the same height. Someone sent you to Europe. After you, how many people in your family are in Europe? Since you arrived, you've just been sending money. No sacrifice to even bring one. Will continue soon. Thank you so much.